Greetings, humans. Are you? Look, I blend. I blend. Jamie Kennedy, hate to break it to you. When you see this little background, you know I'm somewhere on the road. And now I'm in Las Vegas, having amazing time at Skankfest. My second year here. Best festival for comedy. Off the hook. Busier than ever. Highly recommend if you are a fan of uncensored comedy, come to Skankfest. It's awesome. It's awesome. I hope it's a regular thing for me every year. It's just new faces, old faces, just everybody, all types. So thank you, Skankfest. Amazing time. Okay, so I'm just gonna get into it right now. I'm sitting here, and I'm just thinking of the different things going on in the world. There's a lot going on right now. Obviously, there always is, but it feels different. I did a pod last night. My shirt really does blend. It's so funny. I did a thing last night talking about Hollywood and saying that Hollywood is becoming darker by the hour. And it's just bumming me out. And yeah, you can say there's bright spots, obviously, and there's good people, obviously, and stuff like that. But why do we have to walk amongst piles of shit to find a place to sit? Why is this a shit-filled business? And I'm saying every business has got their shit. Academia, shit, scumbags there. Wall Street, scumbags, real estate. I'm sure. Wall Street doesn't actively preach about itself and have magazines devoted to itself. I mean, some, but of how moral they are. Not that Hollywood says it's moral, but it's all an op, man. It's just everything's hitting me. None of it is real. It's all a work. Everything is rigged. And I believe everything is rigged. And I'm going to go back to this, but I'm going to start with the simplest one. Here's an example. I love sports. I'm not like a sports dork, meaning like I'm not a guy who gets together with all of his friends. I don't really have any friends. I mean, I could have friends. I have a couple friends, but I don't have like a group of guys and we're like, okay, yeah, what'd your guy do? You know, that's sports dorkery, meaning they believe in the actual, like they put so much importance on something that's so not important. The important part of sports in the world is the air of competition, the drama, thrill of victory, agony of defeat. That's the best part about sports. And also the other part is the health aspect, like healthy exercising in the sun, self-accomplishment. So a great sporting event is as good, or if not better, really it's better than a dramatic movie if it's real, because it's real. So if you're watching the end of, Pulp Fiction and you're on the edge of your seat, a great sporting event should make you feel like that. And that's that's why I never really had teams. I did for the Eagles for a while and they bummed me out so bad because I'm glad they won a Super Bowl, but it hurt me because for years I would lose, but I didn't tie my life to it once I became successful. And a lot of people do, and that's okay. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, at least that's like the one thing we have. And it is 100% in some capacity, I believe that sports are rigged. Again, set up by the big systems, because everything is a distraction to keep you away from over here. And we're in full distraction season. The fall is full distraction season between all the different sports. And now with the WNBA coming hot, I mean, forget it. And I'm going to tell you why this is rigged, and I make a good argument for it. A, because there's too much money. B, betting is legal now, which is bullshit. Shout out to my father, God rest his soul, who was the first man in on gambling. My father was a beautiful soul. The real RFK, Robert F. Kennedy was his name. He was the first in on gambling. So my father's was an addict, but not a terrible addict. But he was a degenerate in the best way possible, the most beautiful soul, but he was a gambling degenerate. But my mother saved him from losing everything because she was strict. So if he didn't have a wife and kids, he would have been a guy at the track all day. Like, and my father would bet on football games, and then he'd bet on what color uniforms, 2 cockroaches run into a wall, which cockroach is going to hit the wall first. Like, he'd bet on anything. Beautiful soul, give you the shirt off his back. But he was I used to get pools, and I would have kids in school would run hustles with football pools, and he would say, he had his bookie and this bookie, and he says, get one of those kids. If you like them, I'll let them do another bookie for me, be a bookmaker over here. And I said, okay. So I had a kid named Butch who did that when I was 9th grade. I said, my dad's a gambler. And I guess if he won, I'd get a cut, maybe. I don't think he won, though. But then I learned more about my father because there's so much I don't know about him because he never told us much. He was a vault. But one of the things he told me was, I'm realizing as I do these pods, you get to know about me because I like to go into the backstory to give you real context. So, I'm an intimate storyteller. And this is why I like to do a lot alone, because people interrupt me all the time. I tell you things as they come to my head, but I try to stay focused. My father literally did what they call running the numbers. So my grandfather was a total degenerate. I'm learning this stuff. Apparently, he was the club champion in 3 different country clubs in Tennessee as a golfer, incredible golfer. And which I wish I knew earlier because I would have played more golf. But I always was drawn to golf, but I was annoying. But like I hit it. My golf high school coach, I only made 1 year and then he cut me. But I didn't care. He was like, you have a naturally good swing. So I was like, oh, okay. But I was like, what are you going to do with golf? Golf wasn't sexy. I didn't know golf was going to become sexy. So he was a golfer, degenerate. My father, in the late 30s, when he was like 8 or 9 years old, would take a bag of numbers and he would say, take these numbers over to there, to another shoe shop, between like a sandwich shop and a shoe shop. And my dad would run the numbers. That's what's called running the numbers. And they'd put the bets on horses and dogs, I guess, anything. Long story, not boring, is gambling is in my blood. So now gambling's everywhere. And I'm like, this shit is my life, but I did it. I have a lot of history with it, but I actually think you can win. You have to have a Sharpie. So this is why sports is rigged, because there's too much money on it. Now it's more popular than ever. And they're stealing from the hardworking man. And it's not fair. Because I'm going to tell you, so the Dallas kicker was 100% perfect, I believe, between 50 and 58 yards. Some statistic. He's perfect in like the last 2 years. They're playing a game. It's in the Houston Dome. It's not outside. And Dallas is getting 5.5. So right now the score is 20-15. Dallas is winning with 10 seconds left against the Giants. Dallas is getting 5.5. And 80% of the money was on Dallas. 82% on Dallas in Vegas. So let's just say there was 30 million on Dallas. If there's 30 million on this bet total at Vegas, 26 million of it is on Dallas. The kicker has to make the field goal from Dallas to get the half a point, because it'll be 3 points and Dallas will be up by 8. That is not what I looked at. So this is the first ever kick. So they're indoors. The line, Dallas needs a half a point. They didn't punt it, which they easily could have. They didn't want to go for the touchdown. And there's 22 seconds left. So watch this. And you look at it.
This will be a 51-yard attempt.
Now look at it.
Oh,
Look.
of all things.
80% on it. They're indoors. The guy's got a perfect track record. It's 51 yards. It's in his wheelhouse. And he kicks it. And the ball goes slow. It's going straight. And then it goes boop. Like that. It looked like it was remote controlled. Like, whoop. Look at it. You tell me. Boom. Dallas wins the game by 5. They were going to win anyway. They cover the spread because they have a half a point margin. Everyone goes, oh, damn, just a half a point. And 82% of the people lose their money. Feels weird to me. And there's countless things like that. But it's really starting to believe. And I believe football is the biggest sport in our country. Soccer is the biggest sport in the world. But if boxing is rigged, there can be things that make make things rigged. So that's where it is. That was just too obvious. That kick, that time, that scenario, that amount of money, everything is a work. As I always talk about, I'm not a political person. All this happened in 2021. They told me, some lady wrote a thing and said, this is how you see radicalization in real time. I'm not the radical one. The fact that people attacked me for my movie made me look at this shit, and you literally manifested this. But the radical are the ones that won't see this shit.